Hello everyone, this is Ashik from Physio Vibes Anatomy. Today we are gonna see about the pectoralis major muscle. Those of you who are going to gym regularly and doing chest workouts might have known this muscle already. This will be present in our chest region. Here you can see the ribs. This is our chest region. So today we are gonna analyze this pectoralis major muscle in an anatomical perspective. Yep, we are gonna see the anatomy of the pectoralis major. So before anything, let's get started. So guys, this pectoralis major muscle is a large fan-shaped muscle which will be present in our thorax region. Here you can see the skeleton of thorax, that is the bones present in our chest region, the clavicle right and left, and in the middle you will be having the sternum and the ribs and scapula and the upper part of humerus. These are the skeleton of the thorax region. Here the most of the upper part will be covered by this pectoralis major muscle, and in females the mammary glands lies superficial to this muscle, hence it forms a bed-like structure for the mammary glands to be present there. So here in this video we'll be discussing and analyzing this pectoralis major in an anatomical perspective, that is we'll be seeing the origin, insertion and innervation, and finally the function of this muscle. Now let's see the origin of the pectoralis major muscle. This muscle has many origins, many points of origin, like here you can see the clavicular origin, which will be coming from the clavicle bone, and sternal, which will be from the sternum, and costal means ribs, so it will be from the ribs, and aponeurotic from the aponeurosis of the external oblique muscle, which will be present in the abdomen here. So also from the aponeurosis of that muscle, external oblique, this pectoralis major is taking origin. So we'll see in detail. So I'm just drawing how the muscle is taking origin. First, the clavicular origin will be coming from the medial part of the clavicle, from the anterior surface. This is the anterior surface, the medial part. From here the muscle will be coming like this, the fibers of pectoralis major muscle. And the next one is sternal means you have sternum, and in sternum you have manubrium and the body of sternum. So here the half of the sternum, from the half of the sternum the fibers of this muscle will be coming like this. And also from the costal, that means from the ribs, the medial parts of the ribs, medial parts, from here the fibers is also coming. And also from the last one, aponeurotic, here the muscle will be there. I'm just using another color, the aponeurosis of external oblique. Just imagine this is the aponeurosis. So from here the aponeurotic fibers will also comes. So this is how it takes origin, from all of these bones, from the clavicle, the medial part, anterior surface, and from the half of the manubrium and body of sternum, and from the medial ribs, then the aponeurosis of external oblique. And the insertion of this muscle will be the fibers of all these, the clavicular, aponeurotic, costal and sternal fibers will combine and inserts into the lateral lip of intertubercular sulcus. Intertubercular sulcus will be present in the upper part of humerus. Here it will be present. So it has lateral and medial lip. So this muscle got attached, inserted in the lateral lip. This is the lateral lip of the intertubercular sulcus of the humerus. So I'm just showing you in the model now. So guys, here is our model. So I'm going to explain the origin and insertion of this muscle and how the muscle will be in the thorax region. So guys, here you can see I just drew the skeleton of the thorax. You can see the clavicle here. You can touch and palpate in your body also. Clavicle is a subcutaneous bone, and here you will be having the sternum and the ribs. Just imagine this, the sternum and the ribs are there, and here you will be having the humerus, right? So let's see how the muscle is taking origin and where it is inserting. So now let's see. Here you can see the anterior surface of the medial half of the clavicle. Here you will be having the clavicle. This is the medial half of the clavicle. Lateral half, medial half. Okay. Medial half, anterior surface. From here the muscle is taking origin. So it will be coming like this. Okay. The clavicular fibers will be coming like this. Hope it is visible to you. Then half of the anterior surface of manubrium and the body of sternum. Here you will be having the sternum and manubrium. This is the manubrium part and the sternum half. So I am just dividing it into half. So from here the lateral half, the muscle is also coming. Okay, it will be like this. Then the medial half of 1 to 7 ribs. Okay, the first 7 ribs, the medial half, I am just drawing in one or two ribs. Okay, so this is the medial part of the rib, the part which is attaching to the sternum. So from here also the muscle is going. Then last is the aponeurosis of external oblique. Here you will be having in the abdomen external oblique muscle. From here the aponeurotic fibers also taking origin. Okay, so here imagine, here is the external oblique muscles aponeurosis. So from here the muscle fibers will be coming like this. Aponeurotic fibers will also join with the manubrial and sternal fibers and costal fibers. All these muscle together, fibers together go and inserts into the lateral lip of intertubercular sulcus of humerus, as I showed you in the beginning. For your understanding, I am drawing the muscle. Let's look. So the muscle will be from the clavicle, these are the clavicular fibers, and from the manubrium and the sternum, from all these here. Okay, and from the aponeurosis, and also from the medial ribs. So the muscle will be like this. Here you will be having the muscle, and it's getting inserted here in the, here will be having medial lip and also the lateral lip of intertubercular sulcus, which will be here in the humerus. So here the muscle goes and, as I said, this medial lip, lateral lip, so it's inserted into the lateral lip. Okay, so guys, here you can see this is the muscle actually. The clavicular fibers, manubrial and sternocostal fibers from the ribs and the sternum, and the aponeurotic fibers. So this is how the muscle will be covering the most of the part of the upper thorax, and it will be inserting in the lateral lip of intertubercular sulcus. And the speciality of this muscle is the bilaminar tendon of insertion. This muscle, pectoralis major, is inserted by a bilaminar tendon into the lateral lip of intertubercular sulcus, as I said in the beginning. So this forms anterior and posterior lamina. The anterior lamina will be formed by the clavicular and manubrial fibers, the fibers which are coming from the clavicle and the manubrium of the sternum, and the posterior lamina will be formed by the sternocostal fibers, that is from the sternum and the ribs, and the aponeurosis of the external oblique muscle. So these two lamina will be forming like that, and it's getting inserted into the lateral lip of intertuberculus sulcus. Now let's see the innervation of this pectoralis major muscle. The nerves which supply the muscle are the medial pectoral nerve and the lateral pectoral nerve. These two nerves are coming from the lateral and medial cords of brachial plexus. The important thing in this, the root values. These two nerves are coming from all the nerve roots of the brachial plexus from C5 to T1. So if any of the roots is getting damaged or something clinically, there may be a chance for this muscle to get paralyzed. So this is what the nerve supply, the medial and lateral pectoral nerves together supplies the muscle. Now the action of the pectoralis major muscle. The entire muscle will be doing adduction and medial rotation of the arm, and the clavicular part will be doing the flexion along with the deltoids anterior fibers. Along with that, the clavicular part does the flexion and the sternocostal part does extension of the flexed arm. Once it is flexed, the sternocostal part helps in the extension of that flexed arm. So I am just showing you now. Now I am explaining the movements of this muscle. Here you can see the entire muscle will be doing the adduction. The abducted arm will be adduction. It helps in adduction and also the medial rotation. The medial rotation of the arm. Medial rotation can also be done like this. You have to flex the elbow and do like this. So medial rotation. So the entire muscle is doing adduction and medial rotation. You can feel like the muscle will be coming like this, no? Always the origin pulls the insertion towards it, okay, while contracting. So the insertion will be here the origin, so it will be pulling like this, right? So you can feel it, medial rotation. If it pulls like this, medial rotation and adduction. When it is abducted, it pulls for adduction, okay? Entire muscle will be doing adduction and medial rotation. Now the clavicular portion, the clavicular fibers, coming from this functions helps in the flexion. So if it contracts like this, as I told, insertion will be going towards the origin. So if the fibers will be like this, if you flex, it will be contracting, right? So it helps in flexion, and the sternocostal part will be used for extending the flexed arm. Once the arm is flexed, so the sternocostal part of this muscle helps in the extension of the flexed arm, okay? And the last important thing is the clinical relevance, the clinical importance of this pectoralis major muscle, that is the testing of the muscle. We are gonna test the clavicular part of the muscle and also the sternocostal part of the muscle. I'll just do it practically now. Now I'm just showing you the testing of the clavicular head and the sternocostal head. How to test the muscle, I'll show, okay? For clavicular head, you have to flex the arm right angle, flex to arm to the 90-degree. So then the clavicular head will be prominent, you can feel it. Here in this model, the muscle is not that much prominent. So I'm just showing you the technique. For testing the clavicular head, you should flex the arm 90-degree, okay? Then for the sternocostal part, you have to abduct the arm to the 60-degree. You have to abduct and you have to press the opposite hip, okay? Then the sternocostal part will be prominent, you can feel that. This is the testing method for sternocostal part of this muscle. You have to abduct the arm up to 60-degree and press the opposite hip. Then you can feel the sternocostal part.